Hi, everybody. It's Terry TV. Welcome. I'm Terry Hardin, pop icon, uh, Disney Imagineer, Muppeteer, etc., etc., etc. How are you? Did you have a good weekend? I'm sorry I'm a couple minutes late, but I got to tell you, I am so excited because my private broadcast through Facebook worked on a Monday. Yay! I know maybe a lot of you people are savvy in the technical world, but for me, it's always a workout. And today it just was smooth as glass. Of course, there's still problems. Um, Many of you, if you use StreamYard to broadcast, you will know that this little logo up in the corner indicates that StreamYard is most likely the platform that I work from. As I mentioned last month, Facebook decided that you could no longer stream on an outside platform. They wanted you to go through directly, but they did say if you were willing to use their stream key, you could still use it, but it is convoluted. Well, now that I seem to have finally got the hang of this, I got a message from StreamYard that said if I didn't give permissions to Facebook, that they were going to not allow me to broadcast anymore. And they said, we got you covered. So Friday, I got a little bit nervous and you can't call them. You have to chat with them. And they said they're just being inundated with people asking the same question, because what happens is you click on give them permissions and it keeps coming back and saying, you need to give permissions, and you click on permissions and then it goes back to give. It's a vicious circle. Let me just say that. So they said that they've just got tons and tons of people chatting with them and writing them, and they're trying to fix it. And as soon as they get to it, and to keep checking periodically. But today, as of now, broadcasting to you live on YouTube and on Facebook, it's still glitching. So we're going to chat with them. And since they had the weekend to try and get this fixed, and I figured let's give them most of Monday. I'll probably reach out to them this afternoon and say, hey, what's up? So that I can get this all figured out. It's so important to get this done so that I can continue to broadcast you. And it's really important that I do it through StreamYard because it's really, really intuitive for someone who's not really good with their technical. I'm just not my thing. Even though when I work, I can switch cameras like this and talk to you, and it looks super cool. And I can cut to a picture of, let's say, me and my friend Bruce with the amazing Whoopi Goldberg. Chance encounter, chance encounter. I can do this. I can cut between cameras and make this all happen. If I have something on my table, I cut to camera 2, and this is camera 2. This is where I can show you things that I play with and sculpt, like this little bitty head here that is out of clay, and it's just really fun. Let me just tap. I'll find it. There we go. Come on. You can do it. There it is. You see now it's nice and clear, and you can see how tiny it is. About the size of a bead. If I put some more light on it for you. But this is the nice thing about this system. Still a little fuzzy, isn't it? That's because I turned the light on it. Let's see if we can get it to focus. Sometimes you got to find its field. Oh, see, I took a picture. There it is. Okay, just a little work. You know, what did I tell you in the beginning? I'm not technologically savvy, but this is Chavant, and it's just a little bead, and I'm just playing. These are sometimes things I do to play, but look how small it is. Thumbnail. Hi, how are you? Anyway, but there I go digressing again. This is my birthday month. This is June, and I celebrate for the entire month just because I can. You'll also notice I want to bring your attention to how lovely I look today. No, 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 not what I'm wearing, even though Kermit the Frog is really cool. This lighting. If you remember, if some of you have watched a video that I did Friday, I was kind of sepia. I kind of looked like I was in the middle of National Treasure. But and my husband who he was just like he was what is going on with the color. So we spent the week in color balancing. So I sat in the chair and he color balanced, and then we tested and tested and tested. We did about 3 or 4 tests to make sure that it's like this. So I'm very happy to report that I look less sepia now. I look pretty good. Yeah, the cameras match, and that's really nice. And the system. So StreamYard allows me, as well as the ATEM Mini Pro, which is a switcher that just makes life so much simpler for those of us who are trying to do this pretty much on our own when we're broadcasting live, that it just makes me look super professional, and I'm grateful for it. So I would hate for Facebook to take away my community by I need my Terry's tribe to be private. And that's really where the problem lies. As long as I broadcast public like I'm doing now, no harm, no foul. Boom, 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 works the way it did before. But in a private page, that's when you got to jump through a couple of hoops. All I'm saying is today, whoop, whoop, I did it. So I celebrated a little bit with my tribe. I did. I did. For those of you who are saying, Terry's tribe, what are you talking about? I will tell you now. Below me right here, you can see patreon.com/Terry Harden. This is where you can go to join my Patreon for as little as $5 a month. You do have to join it as a membership. Well, you don't have to, but if you want to have active involvement, there's an area where you can kind of click and be hanging out in the sidelines for free. But I don't really work with that group as well as I can because this is free. So I'm really comfortable with this venue, this platform. So I'm going to work more with the free people over there. But right now, $5, which isn't much, you could put a jar by the door and put a quarter in it every day and have your $5, right? Right. This just makes me be more present. It helps me because I semi-retired. I really am excited about painting and sculpting and traveling and not having deadlines. So this just keeps me accountable. And I think you need to have things in your life that are accountable, and Patreon page does that. I'd love to have you there because not only do you get to be a part of a great page, but your voice needs to be heard. I've learned so many wonderful things through you guys that have joined. Just these amazing readers, these amazing writers, these amazing, there's people who are passionate about keeping things clean and tidy, are passionate about Disneyland, are passionate about Star Wars, are passionate about plays, live plays, like they go to plays, not movies. People who are passionate about movies, people who are passionate about charities. I learn all of it because on the Patreon page, it's about all walks of life. We have cast members on there. We have people who knew Walt Disney personally on there. Just a great group of people for just $5 a month. So if you are so inclined, dip a toe in the water, pay your $5, check us out, see if you like what we're doing. And if you are, stay. If not, we don't, no harm, no foul. Okay. It's just that I want to get the word out there because on my Patreon page, they help me with my sculptures. If I want to do a sculpture, they're the first and help me decide what's going to be next in my sculpture line. If I'm going to do something, especially when it comes to something like Disney, if it's going to be something along that line. Also, we're working on a project now, all of us, that I touched on, I think, a little bit on Friday, but I'll really touch on it once we get the specs back. I sent the sketches over. They helped me with that. So it's just a great group of people. And if you want to be in a great group of like-minded, positive people at a time when it can be kind of rough. And the reason I want, then it's a great page. Let me finish my sentence. It's a great page to be a part of. Also, it's a private page. This is really essential to me because there are times we discuss things that could possibly be misinterpreted in a public channel. So I really fight for that because there are people who want to ask questions And unfortunately, those questions in the public get judged too easily. So private pages is very important. So that's why I'm fighting for it. And today it worked great. So I hope you'll join us. I hope you'll join us. Now, on to the topic at hand. Godzilla -1. I was so excited on June 1st, my birthday month. I was so excited to see that this had dropped on Netflix. And my husband was so cute. He was like, nah. He said, no way. And I said, it says Netflix. So we stopped everything and we went to Netflix. And there it was, ready to watch. Watch now. Godzilla -1. And it was in English. So we got the dog up and we pottied her and we fed her and we got us all nestled in and we snuggled in and we got ready to watch Godzilla -1. This has become a very special movie to many of you out there. I don't need to tell you, but for my husband and I, we were absolutely delighted to see this film. And we were absolutely delighted to see it win an Academy Award and to see the people who had made it for just a mere 10 million. So, wow, just wow. So many wows. If you haven't seen this movie, you got to watch it. If you're somebody who doesn't like reading, because when it was released in theaters, it was in the Japanese language and you had to read it. It had subtitles. That's the only way that you could see it. It was not yet English dubbed. Well, on Netflix, it's dubbed in English. So if you're one of those people who just cannot watch a movie, you get drawn in. Like my best friend, she gets drawn into the words and she doesn't look at the rest of the movie around her. So she's like super drawn into the reading and then everything is happening around her and she can't see it. So she doesn't even bother with a movie that has subtitles because she said it robs her of being able to see the film. So for people like her, this English version is is perfect. If it's a movie you're going to have in the background because you saw it a million times, and I know some of you did, if you've seen it a million times because you just love it, then having it in English, unless you know Japanese, of course, you can just listen to it and let it play in front of your mind's eye as it goes. In my opinion, I liked the subtitle version better than the English version, but it's nice to have both. It really is nice to have both. And it's only right now as on Netflix, it's only Godzilla -1, but it's also available for purchase. Like you have to print, like on demand. Yeah, on demand. You can get it on demand for Godzilla -1 minus color, but I would wait. My advice is to wait. I mean, I'm sorry if Netflix, you want to make it a couple extra bucks, but I would wait because it will come out. And my husband and I have been watching this pretty closely, and the Japanese box set that was released was super cool. I really hope they release that in the US because I'd like to have it. But it gave you both versions. It gave you both the Godzilla color and Godzilla -1 in color and Godzilla -1 in black and white. So Godzilla -1 minus color both come in the box set. And the one thing you should know that my husband continues to point out to people is it wasn't a matter of taking the color version, putting it through a system and just taking out the saturation and making it, grayscale. They actually shot it. They created one in black and white. So it's really a monumental, beautiful task for a film and a character that many of us have loved since we were little kids. And my husband especially, my husband can tell you the Godzilla that, he can name them based on their head structure and stuff. He's really into the Godzillas. And I am just like, first Godzilla and Gojira, those are my two favorites. I especially love the hand puppet, obviously, for the Godzilla in the first one. But what's really lovely about Godzilla -1 is it has all of the heart of the original ones that made us love Godzilla. You know, Godzilla goes off in a direction in some cases that is just ridiculous. And in past years, many of the Godzillas have gotten so super pumped up that it becomes something different than what we remember as the Godzilla character. Some of them are cute and sweet because Toho wanted to make them more for children. So I can't remember which one it is. My husband could name it, where they start to talk to each other and argue, him and another monster. And I found that one adorable. I also like Son of Godzilla, one of my favorite ones, where the Papa Godzilla has to teach baby Godzilla all about being Godzilla. And some people might think that's a little cheesy, but it's one of my favorite. I love it. And it has plenty of big, giant, mean monsters in it, like the Spiga and things like that. And so, you know, really exciting. Now, Ghidorah, which is the three-headed dragon, obviously is my favorite villain. But that's because I like dragons. So if you are a Godzilla fan, go ahead and post in the comments some of the things that you love about Godzilla. But when this hit the screen, all of us, our hearts were just excited because it pinged us. It pinged us in the chest, and we went, "Oh my gosh!" You know, uh, from the time that you see various uh facial expressions and lines that they say or ways that they act to bon 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 and you're going, ah, you know, and when the coils start to light up, I mean, there are things that when a fan or a group of people get together and they understand what it is that makes us so excited about Godzilla films and they tick every mark, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. And there are some visuals there that'll just knock your socks off. You just love them and you're just going crazy. Now, there is a little bit of the movie that can move a little bit slow, but especially to you gamers out there, maybe you're used to more action. I think you are, because the way they shoot films today, I can't handle them most of the time because it's too much of this in front of my face. And I want you to just stand, set the camera down, don't move it. Let me see the scene. But it's challenging because I think it's because of you gamers are always, you know, darting around and doing stuff. Maybe I'm wrong, and let me know if I am, but that's what it feels like. And so when you're sitting through movies of the past and they are dwelling on these big expanded visuals and the camera is not darting around, you can get bored if you're younger. Not all of you. I'm not saying all of you get bored, but some get bored. My husband tells me a story of him recommending someone see Lawrence of Arabia with Peter O'Toole, and it is so good, but it doesn't dart around. It does wide screen vistas and deep character stuff, and it's one of my favorite films. And it's hard if you're someone who's used to the camera darting around to sit still and just enjoy and absorb some of the stuff that is meant to be absorbed. So, yeah. So it was great to see this Godzilla happen because I think there was a good Godzilla -1. I think there was an excellent balance between energy and quick and taking some time to feel the scenes. And I was grateful to them for that. And they really were. They hit every nerve when it came to the original, and we, so many were so excited. So we have been champing at the bit for this movie to come to America so we could see it again, and streaming it right now. We streamed it twice on June 1st. And that was because I watched it once in the full English and then I wanted to hear it in the Japanese. So, yeah, a little bit of a fangirl. Okay, a lot of a fangirl on this Godzilla -1. But I did want to share with you that if you didn't know, it's out. It is, and it's on Netflix. Okay, if you don't have Netflix or you've never had Netflix, this is a time to get that trial and check out this movie because it's really worth seeing. And then when the Blu-ray or the DVD or however it's going to come out, box set or something, I highly recommend grabbing that too. I'm just really, I can't wait. It's up on the it's starting to show up on certain sale areas, but they're saying, TBD or not yet available or things like this. But I'm like sniffing at the door, wanting to grab it as soon as it drops. So they actually talked about how you could watch it before June 1st by changing your VPN. See, don't I sound really official? Yeah. Anyway, you change your VPN and you change the location where your broadcast is coming from the internet, and you can actually look like you're in Japan, and then you can watch. You could have watched the Japanese Prime, I think, or something like that. Anyway, I was willing to wait because I heard it was going to drop on June 1st. And I thought, what a nice little birthday present, first of the month for me, along with the June and Gloom that is happening right now, which I just love. I'm hoping it'll go the whole month because in California, we know it's going to get hot soon enough. And I'm not looking forward to it. So I like it like this. I like it like this. So there you go. All right, guys. I'm going to look at what you have to say. As usual, Crazy Mike, bless your heart, you're counting down. You are so sweet that you did this. This is just really sweet. He is like having an announcer. He's like my Mr. Announcer fellow, Mike is, and I really appreciate him. So thank you. It's the Pterosaurus Rex. It's Pterosaurus or whatever he says. Here's what he says right here, just before, and just really sweet. So Bob Burdine says, "Congratulations to me. It's a pretty big deal. It is. It is." StreamYards. So, and then also those of you who are new, welcome. Those of you who are not watching who are not watching live, welcome. No, those of you who are not watching live, welcome also, and consider subscribing. It's a crazy channel, okay? Sometimes I talk to you about how to do stuff, and sometimes I show you stuff, and sometimes it's like being in my brain, and some may like it, some may not, So if you want to take that fantastic voyage, then please subscribe and ring the little bell so you never miss a broadcast. But I'd love to have you there. I'd love to have you. It's been a fun ride, and I love everyone who's here, and it's been a lot of fun. Let's see. He says streams yards. You have a rose bush that streams videos. LOL. So Mike is our resident, along with Joe Penny, who kind of do play on words. So if you like punning and you like play on words, you've come to the right place with these two. They are quite fun. 4 a.m. clouds, no planets, went back to sleep. I know, crazy. I know, Mike. I did the same thing and then I looked at the news because news starts early, and they told me that in order to get clear of the clouds, I'd have to go to 3,000 feet, and I'm nowhere near that. I got to get back and broadcast. How is that going to work? So I missed the parade of planets too. Although I was sorry, I was happy for the gloom. So, it's like the devil and the angel. One side goes, yay, gloom. The other says, but no planets. But I did. I went to see, and like you, I went back to bed. So there you go. Let's see. Happy early birthday, says Savannah. Hi, Savannah. How are you? Have to head out. You look amazing. Have a wonderful day. You too, Savannah. And she's probably gone, but I'm going to say it anyway because she could come back. This is being, of course, recorded. This is live, and then it stays on YouTube. That's the cool thing about YouTube is it stays there live. You can go back and see it later. So there we go. Debbie says hello to her dearest and sweet friends. That's all y'all. If Terry bursts into flames under the lightning, too much sunlight bulbs, poof, Barbie Terry, LOL. You see what I mean? Oh my goodness. Um, and then let's see, June 1st is my friend's birthday too. And for her birthday, we treated her to the Air Power Museum. Where's that, Mike? The Air Power Museum. I'd love to hear more. And here's Joe. Joe, happy Monday and early happy birthday, Terry. Which date is your actual? The 21st. So my birthday is June 21st. This is because it is the longest day of the year. And God knew I needed every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day. Hence, I was born on the longest day of the year. And boy, do I feel it. I was up early this morning. I'm working on my garage because as soon as the cloud cover stops being overcast, which is June gloom, so once we hit July, it's going to get hot, and I won't want to work in my garage because it has no air conditioning. So I'm working hard to get my garage. I'm sort of digging out stuff and donating to charity and categorizing things and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it gets hot and it's dusty in there and everything. So I'm trying to get I am determined to do as much as I can before the heat of July and August are upon us here in Southern California. So I was up early working in there. And then I put an extra coat on my canvas because I got a painting class as a birthday gift. And I'm off to do that in the middle of the week. So I'm super excited about going and doing it. I started painting during the pandemic, and everything that I've learned has been online training. So it's going to be fun to have a human, like, live teacher again. I'm really looking forward to being a student. I'm often the teacher. So not that I don't want to be the teacher. I love being the teacher. I love sharing you how to do things. Pumpkin sculpting's coming up. So but I like to teach that too. And we're working on some online courses. This is one of the reasons that over the weekend we were working so hard to get the camera color right, to get the cameras to switch between each other and look good. I have a new camera one, so I wanted to make sure that it is what we want. You know how you have that 30 days free trial where we buckle down when we do it for this system. And this is very exciting because I finally realized that I want to do this. I've done this for over 4 years, and I realized that I enjoy broadcasting to you guys and speaking with you guys. So it's pretty fun. So, yeah. Back to Debbie. She remembers watching Godzilla movies. Yes. How can you? They're so good. They are so much fun. They're so much fun, the Godzilla movies. Debbie says she remembers watching Godzilla movies when she was a kid with her best friend and they loved it. I mean, come on, especially the one with Raymond Burr, which was the first one I ever saw, right? Uh, Godzilla King of the Monsters, right? And uh just the first of all, now when I watch it, I can't help but giggling because Raymond Burr's character is called Steve Martin, and they go Steve Martin, and you just fall over because you think of I think of the comedian Steve Martin. So it's kind of funny. It's kind of like um in Back to School, I think he's called Dean Martin. Dean, yeah. And it's another, like, play on words. So those kind of things give you a giggle, but it's a great movie. They don't play it tongue in cheek, the original Godzilla. It's got actors that I love. I watched a lot of Japanese film, not when I was a kid, but later in my life. I love Asian filmmaking of all levels. I like Korean films can be really, really scary. They really do dig deep into some areas that can be very, very scary, both psychologically and visually. So I love a lot of that. And then I also like Japanese and Chinese and, just international films across the board. I love seeing. I really love seeing foreign films. I guess that's the way I should say it, right? That would be better said, is to say how much I love foreign film. I love foreign film. I don't mind reading because I don't have that inability to read and watch the movie at the same time. And if I do and I like it, then I watch it a lot so that then it doesn't matter. So I'm a super fan of Zatoichi, the Blind Swordsman, and there's something like 27 episodes that I have. And I know them so well now. It plays in English, even though they speak Japanese. So I no longer need to read the subtitles. And that's what happens when you watch or listen. You watch a lot. You know your favorite movie. You can quote it. Don't say you can't. You can. So that's the way it is. Mike says he loved the Godzilla cartoon. He found that to be fun. Sorry, I got a distraction out my window. I think it's the Terminex. The guy who is the extermination guy. And Godzilla. Yes. Here we go. Joe, speaking of Godzilla, I noticed that the early Godzilla movies are now available to stream on demand on Tubi as well as the Godzilla channel on Pluto. Okay, so this is news to me, Joe, and I love you for this. I had no idea there was a Godzilla channel on Pluto. We have Pluto. I mean, Pluto's another free one, isn't it? And Tubi, I just love Tubi's logo. Doobie. They go, Doobie. Some sort of electric, sort of comfy sound. I just love watching that logo. It's pretty fun. So that's great. So guys, look at this. If you're interested in delving into some of the classic Godzilla stuff, here's a great opportunity to listen to Joe and see that here it is. Early Godzilla movies and stuff like you'll have a great time. They are really fun. And many people that I come across that love Godzilla films often talk about Mothra and the two twins that come because Mothra is a savior of the planet. Is quite a beautiful creature. And then they have some creatures that are amazing and some that are silly, but it's all in good fun. It is when you know about people performing in these suits. These are hardworking actors that act inside these characters, and they do such a great job. But when you see what they have to go through, just remember that this is exhausting, being in deep water and coming up out of deep water or whatever they're doing. It's pretty incredible work and a lot of fun to watch, and great for your kids because a lot of the in between Godzilla movies have got silly, fun, kind of silly characters. Their heads wobble, and it's just fun. It's just really fun. Let's see. And Gozuki, he says, don't forget Gozuki, which was never a favorite character of mine. It was a bit too smarmy for me, but for kids, they love Gozuki. So, there you go. I liked Baby Godzilla in Son of Godzilla. He was my favorite. Quack, quack. I told you, if you see a movie enough, you quote it. Quack, quack. Huh, huh. Favorite sequence in Son of Godzilla is when Dad is teaching his son how to use his flame, breathe the flame that he does. It's a lot of fun. And as a child, I remember being maybe about 10 and just going gaga for that movie. So Son of Godzilla was my favorite for quite some time. Let's see. Joe says, I don't consider myself a Godzilla fan per se, but I do enjoy the original films in Japanese. I remember growing up watching some of the Toho monster movies on KTLA Channel 5 back in the 70s. I always liked Godzilla King of the Monsters 1956, the American edit with Raymond Burr the most. Yes, I agree. Okay, because they found Gojira. And the people who were bringing Godzilla to America were afraid people needed an anchor to tether them to this film in the United States. So they used Raymond Burr as Steve Martin to be that anchor in Godzilla King of the Monsters. That's what they believed. But if you go back and watch the original Gojira after, that's good. I like them. Actually, I love watching one and then the other because they both are very good. But I can see what, it's kind of fun to see what the US was thinking. We want to bring this in because we think people love the monster, but if it's all about the monster, excuse me, and they have to read it, we don't think they're going to attach themselves to it. So this was a great thing to do. So I'm with you on that. Akira Ifukube's score helps make it really, I know, right? And it's got notable notes, doesn't it, Joe? It has notable notes. Notes that when you hear it, you know where it's from, right? Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. There's no doubt where this is coming from. So you get really excited about sounds that happen. I mean, there's no other. You could hear that, and if you've only seen one Godzilla film, you know where it's from. And I think those kind of signatures are absolutely fabulous. They're just fabulous. When I was in Japan, I was a guest showing people my Splash Mountain, Splash Tokyo. I got to design Main Drop in Tokyo Splash Mountain. And we had a team of about 10 people, and we did Tokyo Splash Mountain here in Glendale. We did the model, and then it was shipped over for Japan to recreate in the big size. And I was so fast carving it that they gave me Main Drop. Whenever they wanted to honor one particular artist on the team, they got Main Drop. And I had done Splash Mountain. I had worked a little bit on Splash Mountain in a couple other areas, but Tokyo was my number one. And they liked my work so much that they gave me Main Drop. So when you see it, and it's still at Tokyo Disneyland, yay. I also did the boat, also worked on the boat. So super exciting, really cool, really fun. But you hear those sounds, and those sounds are what do it for you. When I was there, I bought a Godzilla toy, and the toy has a building. That's the remote control. And then when you work the Godzilla toy, which I brought all the way back from Japan, it actually needs fixing because we want to fix it, but we changed the batteries and that wasn't enough. So toy fixer, we need to fix him so he does it again. But when he was working, he would walk and it would go doo, doo, doo. And then you could push another button and the head would go, and it was an actual recording of so I have to tell you, I brought that home and my husband played with it like crazy. I played with it too, but he just fell in love with that toy, and I can't blame him. It really was cool. And it's only about this big, so it's not really giant, but it is really special. So yeah, so there you go. Who's this? The Debbie says, oh my goodness, I have Netflix, and she's going to watch the movie this weekend. And the thing is, Debbie, you can watch it as many times as you want. You can go. It's great. It's great. I don't know how they swung it, but I'm grateful that they did. Mike says when it came to the Dukes of Hazzard movie, it was a bomb, but the reunion movies were fantastic. It's the Duke boys, yay, ha, and yes, I had the General Lee body shell on one of my RC trucks. So you can see that once you bring up here on this channel something that you remember that you liked, maybe as a young person or in the recent past or whatever, it pulls up a lot of these reminiscence of things that you liked as a kid, right? Or even as a young adult, or even in your, in the past. You could say, hey, in the past, I used to watch, this all the time, so that's really cool. Thank you. Sherry Langley, hey girl. Thank you. I appreciate it. Really good to hear from you. Hope you are well. Let's see. I will wait to watch it with Joanna to see Godzilla. Well, this is what's fun. Get some popcorn ready and you're all set to go. It's really, really great. Hello, Surfer Girl. Um, let's see. People are saying hi to each other. Crazy says happy birthday to me. Surfer Girl says that she is just getting to work at 4 a.m. Wow, you are a good girl. And it says Long Island farming. I think he meant, did you mean date or Dale? Farming. I don't know what you meant. Okay. And then Mike says Terry finds in the back of her garage the ark that that Dr. Jones is looking for. Yeah, it's kind of, I haven't gotten to it yet. No, I'm kidding. But it does. When I first opened my garage, I should have taken a picture of my garage when I first opened it, because it really did look where they put the ark. They look like where I put the Ark of the Covenant. So Mike's not. I mean, it sounds like he's kidding, but he's not really kidding because he's never seen my garage. But it honestly, now my husband walks out there and says, "Oh my gosh, you've done so much work." But there's more to be done. So I just want to get it as close as I can. It won't be finished, but I want to get it to a point to where I know what the next steps are in the summer months. So that's what I'm working on. And I'm thinking of a garage sale, but I don't want to do that in the heat of the months either. I'm not really a hot into the heat person. I like it like this. I like it like this, which is why my birthday's in June. Debbie points out she's originally from Long Island. Now that place gets cold, Debbie. We used to shoot outrageous pumpkins there, and I can remember, I think it was season 2 or season 3. You can watch that on the Discovery Channel. You can also watch it on the Food Network, Outrageous Pumpkins, and watch the seasons. I think it's also on Max, but just sort of, put it into your system and it'll show you where you can watch it. I'm a judge on that. For those of you who may or may not know, I'm a judge on Outrageous Pumpkins. We were in Long Island for 2 years. I love that aquarium, honestly. But woo, it was minus 10 degrees. And being from California, I had no idea what that felt like. Yikes. The problem for me when we shot that was that our base camp being a tent where all the equipment is and where people go in and eat and stay comfy, they had it like 100 degrees. So you'd go from minus 10 outside to 100 degrees. And I'm not good with that. Okay. I have a real problem with anything over 65 degrees. I like it 65. Should live by the beach, actually, but I don't. And man, the people that were inside loved it hot. I was like, ah! So I had to sort of thread the needle. At that time, I had a little room that was attached to base camp, and there were pros and cons. The cons was it was so warm. So I lifted the curtains so that some of the cool air could come in and mix with the warm. And some people would come into my room and go, what the, now that I have a trailer, I have a dedicated trailer that's mine, so I can keep the climate the way I want it. They still go in and go, yikes. So a lot of times on Outrageous Pumpkins, we'll gather and I will go in and warm up the trailer before we shoot the last scene in the episode, so that knowing that they're going to come and talk to us and they like to meet in my trailer. I like meeting in my trailer, actually. And we all get together, and that way they're warm. They're not freezing, because I keep it cold. I just don't get to wear sweaters enough. So, I get to go back to, we shoot now in Virginia, and it's wonderful. The weather is beautiful there, 50s and 60s. Yeah, baby. My mom says, I don't know how and why we ended up in California. It's because I was a kid. I was born in California. It wasn't my choice, but this is what they liked. And now I love living here. I love living here. Um, Crazy Mike says Terry saw Drive Angry. Yes, I loved it, actually. I loved it a lot. Mandy, no, 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 did not love Mandy, but Drive Angry was a lot of fun. I found that to be a fun movie. Thank you for recommending it. Nick Cage collection. Nick Cage collection. So Joe says it looks a bit fuzzy, and it could be. It could be a bit fuzzy. Our challenge, Joe, and I'm not here to make it to focus it because the monitor that I am working off of is we just found out. Well, we just realized. I realized. He realized. We realized that my monitor. We tried to. Did I tell you I tried to replace my monitor and had this super fiasco with Best Buy? Anyway, Best Buy didn't send me the power cord. And they told me that open box, that's what it meant. And I said, what? No power cord? What did you think I was going to use it for? You know, a whiteboard? What do you use a monitor for? You got to plug it in. I don't know. Weird. So, so I returned it. I won't bore you with all the details. I probably did that last time. But I won't bore you with the details. Once again, all I know is that I usually go down to Best Buy and just buy it. It's not far from my house. But this time they were having a big sale, and I decided that I was going to get a new monitor. We were going to get a more this monitor is 720p 720. You know what that means, right? And because of that, it's hard. The camera is higher resolution, but the monitor can only go to 720, if that makes sense. So it can be a little bit blurry because we're fighting between two situations here. So it will clear up a little bit as we continue. We're looking to get another monitor. We're still looking. Here's the challenge I have with getting a new television monitor is that I want one that is a 36-inch. And people kind of laugh at you now when you go into the store and say, can I have a 36-inch TV? They go, because most of y'all get them 64-inch, those 102-inch, those 170-inchers. They're all about these mega size TVs, right? And I walk in and go, could I have a 36-inch, please? And they're like, what the heck? But mine is on my desktop over here. And that's where I wanted to stay. The one I have right now, I think is a 27, maybe. It's like, it's monitor size to me. So it's a challenge to we're doing some digging to find it. And then because we don't want to have an old one because the resolution isn't going to go late, you see? So luckily I have my husband because most of the stuff I'm telling you is kind of parroting what he said to me. And this is good. This is good to have someone who's really good at this stuff. And that's my husband. He's won Emmys in his editing and filmmaking. So he is no slouch, and I am really fortunate to have him. Thank goodness. But the color was what we were focusing on now, Joe, because last time I was like in the desert. I looked like a scene from Dune, So we decided that was not. He did not like that look, but he did want some looks that were a little bit more up. And I'm noticing now that I thought I had done it, but I didn't. I failed to light back here. My blue tail isn't happening. So he's probably sitting there going, you didn't turn the light on for your tail. So next time, guys, I promise. But there's a light that highlights that, and then a light way up here that does something. And I must have missed it today. Got all wrapped up in something. Who knows what happened? I was so excited that it worked on my private channel that, it's Monday, a couple of things left. This is an easy fix, though. I just need to hit the switch, right? All I have to do is hit the switch. So let me show you something fun. I talked about Splash Mountain, and I talked about, I did several things as an Imagineer. Here's a rose float. Did you guys know I did a rose float? There's the rose float. That's the trophy, actually. of the rose float. That's actually, I'm going to actually turn that off. This is a picture of the Tournament of Roses rose float, 1996. Gander on that for a minute. There we go. Just feast your eyes on that for a minute. There we go. And while I show you that picture, that is the trophy. The trophies from the Tournament of Roses are actually framed and then end up being in your city. So that's the trophy. Now you can see the blue. See the blue? I snuck over. You could probably hear it, but not see it. I snuck over and turned that light on. So see, isn't that cool? That blue? Anyway, that's much better balanced. May not have done anything with focus, Joe, but it's a prettier background. I know my husband was probably going, that blue light is out. That blue light is out. What are we going to do about that blue light? You leave it to me, and it's just the way things are. Let's see. Here is a question from Mike. Terry, ever see new Demian Tank Police? It's an old cartoon. Anime. No. The spell check is really messing with you, Mike. Pat, there she is. Happy birthday month to us both. I celebrate all month long as well. Mine's the 18th. 18th is a great date. Yes. As a kid, the first Godzilla movie, long story short, I was really sick, so it scared me. So every time it's it's on, is what she means. My sister teases me mercilessly. I love it now, LOL. Well, I mean, sometimes something like that scares you when you do love it. Right, Pat? Gosh, it's glad that we reconnected. I just want to say that. Pat was my FedEx delivery person and has retired comfortably now. And we just connected again. And this is what makes things like Facebook and YouTube so special. But it's just great to reconnect with her. She was, I don't know how often on this channel. I know I talk quite a bit on my Patreon page, but on this channel, I talk about, I may not or may not talk about good to great. Okay. Good is, didn't you read the instructions? And great is someone who reads it to you. Read something that you need to know. So you're out buying a car, for example. I went and bought my Mustang in 2012. And the guy said, in the instructions, it says, and he started, he said, did you read these instructions I gave you? I had, but if there's something in the instructions or in the contract or in the description that you want someone to be sure they're aware of, great reads it. Good just hopes you'll find it, So good to great. Pat was great. And as a delivery FedEx person, she used to, because my car was so recognizable, she used to try and find me. If she was driving her route and she saw my car, she'd honk at me from her FedEx truck and say, hey, I have a package for you. So if she missed me at the house, I could sign from the package. I mean, that's great, right? That's great. When she finally retired, I think many people cried because she was just great. She was great. It was so much fun to see her every time she showed up. You knew you were in good hands. Same with my mailman, Carlton, who is long retired. I asked him to tell me he plays with a band. He's off somewhere playing with a band. He is truly the movie that Soul is about, where he went off to do his dream jazz playing. But we really miss him as a mailman. There's some decent mailmen, not that they're bad. They're just not great. Carlton was one of those people. I've got a mailman now. He's really special too. He's pretty great. But I don't know. I'm on a route that's very coveted. So seniors fight over it at the Postal Service. And so sometimes I don't get to see him. But lately I think he's won the battle. And so he's very, very nice fella. And he's so kind. A lot of times I have lots of things I need to mail out to people, to my tribe and stuff like that. And he parks the truck in front of my house And then I can say, hey, when you're done, can I give you packages? And he never just walks away. He'll knock on my door and say, you had packages for me? And then we'll carry them out, because sometimes it can be 20, 30 packages. So he's great. But that's, good to great. Pat's great is what I wanted to say. Fuzzy camera image on YouTube as well. Yes, this is Joe. Yes. So Joe, bear with me a bit, and we will, continue to try and get it in there. But thank you for telling me. I really appreciate you watching my back. To be or not to be, that's what I ask of the LOL. See, Crazy Mike playing on words again. He's adorable. Let's see. Crazy Mike says, I can see Godzilla and Son of Godzilla at the barbecue. Okay, son, fire breathe just a bit on the cow and turn them so they don't burn on one side. Clever. That's kind of a cute cartoon. Yeah, I did a get well card with 2 dragons, and the father dragon is teaching the baby dragon how to breathe fire. So I got that from Son of Godzilla. I mean, obviously I did. Air Power Museum is in Farmdale, Long Island. Oh, cool. I never got to see it there when I was in Long Island. I don't think I was in Farmdale. I was right by the aquarium, if you guys can tell me where that is, because I was shooting a show, and then on my day off, I just went next door to the aquarium, because you work hard when you're on a shoot. And it was really chilly. Not that it was bad, but I just wanted to go. They said one of the best aquariums was right next door, so I just popped next door. It was really, really cool. It was an awesome aquarium. So if you know where that is, then you know where I was. Ice Terry on Long Island. Absolutely, that was me. And then Mike, as usual, asks me how I am. Mike always does. I'm doing great. I'm doing great, Mike. You want to know why? My broadcast to my Patreon page worked today, and it's Monday. It hasn't worked since they changed things. So I was really I'm feeling my oats today. Can you tell? I'm feeling my oats. What else we got here? We've got a high in here, and I have a 32-inch TV. I don't have space in my wall unit for anything bigger. I may need to get rid of my wall unit. LOL. I just have to tell you, Debbie, that we just thought that, people are living in smaller spaces. People are living together, like kids are staying at home with their parents and stuff. So you're in a room, and I just couldn't imagine you'd fill a wall. And then I went to, what hotel was I at? We were at a hotel. I think it's when my husband and I think this is the TV I'm thinking of anyway. My husband and I went to Hawaii to celebrate our 20-year wedding anniversary. We went to Kauai. And when we walked into that room, that wall was practically the whole TV. The TV was so big. And you could only get back so far in a hotel room. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's a suite, you are not that far from a giant. It was gigantic. I really think that is where it was. And I remember walking in. Have you guys ever seen Brainstorm with Christopher Walken and Natalie Wood? Come on. It's one of my favorite movies. But anyway, there's a sequence where Christopher Walken is like, what are you talking about, to his wife? And he's got this giant satellite dish. Back in the day when satellite dishes were, should be in the desert, he has one in the backyard, and he's like, put flowers around it. This is the way I felt about this room, is that they must have put the TV in first and then sort of decorated around the TV, because it is flippin' enormous. And you just... I feel like I'm in the movie. Unbelievable. And so I was really surprised when the 32-inch TVs are harder to find. You can find them, but we were looking for a Sony Bravia and there's a chance that they are not making them anymore. We're going to check, but we wanted a good high quality because I was going to use it as a monitor. And it, not happening. So uh, Mike says, there, skip the Super 8 and the TV tube and the screen, LOL. Yes, exactly. Uh, let's see. Debbie says, I have a wonderful mailman. I'm grateful to him. He brought me food when I was on chemo a few years ago. That's fabulous, Debbie. What a lovely story. That's like my neighbor across the street. My neighbor across the street noticed when I was sick with COVID, she noticed that the car wasn't moving, and she said, can I do anything for you? And she said, I'm going to Costco. And she brought me a care package and set it on the front porch. When my husband and I, there was a time when we both caught COVID. We've only both caught it one time, but we caught it together. We got it on the plane, by the way, Southwest. And we came back, and we were both sick. And you know that depending on when you catch COVID, it's either you barely feel it or it knocks you flat. Or in my case, it felt like I was walking through jello. I would get up and just feel like I couldn't, like I was walking in slow motion, and I just would feel kind of like this, almost like a spacewalk. And it was challenging because both of us were feeling pretty blah. And you got to make sure that you eat and you take care of yourself and you do what you're supposed to do when you get it. But yeah, my neighbor was just like your postman. He brought us soup, and she brought us soup, and she brought us food. She had cooked a couple times. She's really a great lady. I live in a lovely neighborhood. Yeah, they're great people. Um, our mailman is the Pitts. We're lucky when we get mail. Yeah, there was a lot of conversation about some of these mailmen, Mike. One of them is that people leave their dogs out. I'm not saying it's you, but they leave their dogs out, and a mailman has the right, if they fear that their life will be in danger or their health will be in danger, they can skip you. Okay, so let's say you have your dog running around in the yard and you're not really, maybe you're inside or whatever. I have a little 10-pound dog, so I never leave her outside without me. So if the mailman comes and my little dog is going, I pick her up and hold her and then open the gate for him, and he comes in. Or he just hands me the mail over the fence because she's a little 10-pound dog. But the point is these mail carriers will refuse to come in when it's a dog because they just don't know. I mean, after all, you've seen some of these. If you've ever watched, is it Caesar? Whether it's real or not, it doesn't matter. But I sure learned a lot about the Chihuahua. I didn't realize how aggressive Chihuahuas can be, but they're scary little critters. And I saw a couple of videos where these Chihuahuas were just terrifying. And even though it's a little dog, it seemed like more like a Tasmanian devil dog. Not all of them, but a couple of them, a few of them that I saw. So I can imagine that a mail carrier is like, just because it's a small dog, I'm not going to be stupid and step beyond that boundary, because as you know, dogs would think a mailman as an intruder no matter what happens. They're coming up onto the property and like, no. So sometimes a mail carrier has the right to just walk past you. Some choose to walk past you, so past your house. But I just heard this on the news. That's what made me think of it, not meaning you, Mike, but made me think of mail carriers and their right to walk by. So then all of a sudden you're like, where's my mail? But in my case, he knows that the dog is always with me. My dog is never out front without me, or she's never anywhere without me, because she looks too much like lunch. The squirrels look at her and are trying to decide, is she a squirrel or is she a dog, or is she something I might want to see if I could eat? So I watch them very carefully. She's the one dog I've had who squirrels just don't interest her at all. She looks at them and she's like, me. but cats make her crazy. Birds make her crazy. She just gets a kick out of birds. She gets a kick out of cats, of course. She barks at cats all the time. And people. She adores people and other dogs. She's got to tell the news. I think she's like the town gossip dog because she barks at them and people look and I say, she's just telling you the news. It's not up to me to tell you what it is. She's just telling you the news. So she's quite a crazy little character. Mike says Riverhead, the aquarium. Yeah, it's a great aquarium. Riverhead, Long Island. We were right on the water with our hotel when I shot there, and we shot there for 3 years, 3 seasons, I think. And one of them was just really cold and windy. It was wild. But this is when it's good to be a judge and rough being a contestant. Because as a contestant, you're carving this material, which is a pumpkin, which is a living, you know, gourd, squash, whatever you want to call it. But the point is that that once you carve the skin off, the flesh is moist, and in 10 minus 10, it freezes. So it was really hard for the sculptors that year. We gave them a lot of leeway because we knew, if you could carve anything in these conditions, and you're always saying to production, you may want to give yourself a day or two in case you get a day like this. But they were much smarter. They said, we're going to do something better. We're relocate to Virginia. And now where we shoot is great. A lot of times it can get too warm. And then we got a whole nother set of problems. But when it gets cold, and sometimes, I think it was last season, it was raining. So welcome to the weather. We shoot outside. And it's pretty wild. Yeah, it is pretty wild. Mike says he has a 72-inch TV and a 400-watt sound system. Crank it when the A-team is on and everybody will die for cover. Is that your neighbors? They're like, earthquake! Mike, you're crazy. You're really crazy, dude. You are. That's amazing. Well, everyone, what can I tell you before I zip out of here today? I am getting ready to go to do my painting class. So I've based my canvas, which is great, meaning that it is in a gray background. And I put the gray. So you many painters will tell you that it's nice to get rid of the white. And my teacher, it's really important to follow the teacher. That being said, I'm still a bit of a rebel. So follow the teacher, number one, right? If the teacher wants to teach you certain methods and steps, honor him because you took the class to learn from him or her, right? But I'm doing a class with an amazing portrait painter named Gavin Glack. Guess I think is how you say his last name. Sorry, Gavin, if I messed that up. But one of the things that he said is that you can choose pictures. He sent us pictures of portraits. We're going to learn portrait painting, and he said you can paint this. You can paint this picture or something else. Well, guess what I chose? Something else. I'm not going to paint my dog, although I really did want to paint my dog. But I want to paint a portrait so that I can get the techniques down. So I sent him the pictures that I wanted to paint. And one of them that I really love is a dynamic shot of the person sideways. I'm not real good with this kind of a painting. I'm not good with those. So I wanted to do something a little more dynamic. So I picked this painting where the woman is like against a pillow, and it's really cool. It looks really angelic, but her eyes are closed. So I wrote to Gavin and I said, hey, Gavin, I really want to do this picture. And I sent it to him. And I said, her eyes are closed though. And I think you're going to teach me techniques on eyes. So here's another picture. And it's a young girl with like huge eyes. And she's just going, and her eyes are like open. So that when he teaches us how to paint the eye and the area around the eye, the open eye, I got a little canvas and I told them I'm going to bring the little canvas so that I can do the exercise of an open eye on the little canvas. I'll just jump to the other one because I'm really feeling strongly about this woman with her head to one side and her eyes are closed and the hair is kind of muffled and musty and it's kind of, eerie. I like that kind of painting. I'm not saying I do it accurately. That's why I'm going to a class. But I'm really excited about it. And he was really sweet about it. He said, "Yeah, bring it, bring it. We're good. We can do it. We can do it." But I want to know the techniques. I just don't want to get wrapped up in, I don't like to paint the same with other people. I have this thing about it. And when I teach, I don't want you to paint the same thing or draw the same thing or sculpt the same thing. I want you to come to my classes and then you sculpt what you want and I'll help you achieve what you need to achieve. It's a little more work for me, but I just feel that this is, one of the things I hate, especially about beginning students, is that they freak out if they are sitting next to two people and they just happen to think that though one of those two people is better than them, then they'll stop. In fact, one of my dearest friends, she said that's exactly what she did. She went to one of these wine and paint classes, except for it was have a beer and paint. And they were all painting the same thing. And she just didn't feel passionate about it, number one. And number two, this is very important if you go to these things, guys. Understand that if you don't feel it, and it's kind of like the teacher at these things, as I understand, I've never been to one, where they kind of tell you where to put what color and how to do it so that you can be successful with the picture when you're done, like a paint by number. No. Yeah, no. So I'm thinking about going and doing one of these classes with a few friends. And I asked her if I had a private party, could she just teach us technique and they can bring whatever picture they want? And I don't know how she's going to feel about that. I don't know. It's a business, but I think they're making you cannot bring alcohol. You cannot bring your alcohol to the location. You have to, if you're going to drink wine or beer there, you have to purchase it from that location. You can bring food, but you can't bring alcohol. So my feeling is that's where they're making the money because like each glass of wine is like $9. So they're making some good money there. And also the class runs about $50, $47, something like that. So there's, but I know that this inspires a lot of people like that. It's just me. So here's where you come head to head with the Imagineer and Terri. Okay. If I have a private party, I understand if I'm a student, I got to kind of go with the flow. Well, nothing tells me I have to go with the flow. I can do what I want. But they may not love me very much, but I can do what I want. But the point is that if I'm doing a private party, a teacher, I think, should be flexible enough just to teach me acrylic painting techniques. How do I blend? What do I do if it dries too fast? How do I keep acrylics moist? These are all techniques that I've learned and they're fun. And I think people would really enjoy it. And you can only, you can have, is it okay to use them like watercolors? Answer yes with acrylics, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just one of these things that is happening. So I told my tribe today, I was telling them I'm looking into it because I'd like to get together with them and do this. And I said, it sounds really cool. It sounds like it's going to be really fun, but I need to find out if we have to paint the same thing, because if that's the case, I'm not going. No, not for me. I don't mind duplicating in a class what you're teaching me to do to learn a technique. I don't mind that, but that's usually a class that's several days long. Like I work with a guy who's from the UK and he's amazing. He's amazing. He's a very talented painter. I really believe his name is Will Kemp. Look him up, Kemp. He's really wonderful. He just moved to Cornwall Will, I wonder if it's been a year, but it's been some time. Anyway, he's really good. And what he does is he will teach you free lessons on YouTube. And it's like paint a cherry or paint a pear. And you get the idea of whether or not you like working with him, which is brilliant. And then he tells you about his website where he has classes to offer. And that will eventually be me too, because I love the way the man operates. And when you're painting something, he'll take you through different subjects and explains why he wants you to duplicate what he's doing so he can show you the technique. These are practice pieces. Take art that you know of, paint it to understand what they did to achieve the look they've got. Bingo, right? And it's not just 2-hour session. It's like time, takes time. So it's a double feeling. You know, if you got weeks to paint, days to paint, it's going to be different. I want you to paint this image first so I can show you how to achieve this in the way that I'm doing it. And I don't have to check every single easel. Yeah. But if it's only going to be a day or two, and this is just a 2-day class, so he's going to be firing it off. You know, you're not going to be Rembrandt after you take this class, but you are going to have a better understanding of certain things in the aspects of painting. So Gavin feels like, come and just have fun. You know, I'm going to show you techniques, take them or leave them. So that's what's so great about him. And that's what's so great about it. So it's just really, really neat. So there's a few more comments here, mostly from Mike, because I love that he loves to talk to me too. My friend had a cat named Coco and it did not like strangers. I went over to her, picked her up, put her in my lap. She sat there purring. Her family was shocked that Coco did not claw the heck out of me, the hell out of me. Some people are true cat people, aren't they? Yeah. Sometimes there's a person who your animal gets along with everybody and they walk in the door and the dog or cat goes, oh no, enter no further, out you go. So I've seen both, Mike. I've seen both when that happens. And a play on words, waltz. What milkshake do they have in WDW? A walt shake, LOL. Do they? No, I'm kidding. Debbie says, you piqued my interest now. I am going to see if I can take a painting class near where I live. I do love painting when I was a kid. And here's the thing, Debbie. These wine painting classes usually do, just like I said, it's like a coached paint by number. Today we're going, and if you look at their calendar, it will say paint a still life, paint a dog, paint a cat, paint a stuffed bear, paint a, and they have the example, and the teacher says you lay your color like this, and then you put your first color in like this, kind of like in a Bob Ross fashion, but then Bob Ross is a lot more advanced. But what I mean is, lay in your trees like this, and, and then to do a leaf, etc. So it's a paint by number, but it's a great introduction to feeling comfortable about the paint because you're all doing the same thing. Just don't, Debbie, do what my friend did and look at each other's paintings and go, oh, they're better than me, and stop. She did. She just stopped. She would not paint anymore. And I don't want that to happen with people. These things are really fun, but it's a wall if you're all painting the same thing. You can absolutely destroy the passion, the little tiny flicker. I'd kind of like to do that, like you're talking about now. You're saying, hey, I want to go try that at a class. But if you're finding that you're being, that the wall is going up, or you're losing confidence because of what you see around you, then please don't take it personal. Okay. This is what happens when everybody does the same thing. And which is one of the reasons in my classes, you can bring whatever you want and I'll teach you how to do it. Does it make my mind have to go in a million directions? Yes, it does. It does. It's harder on the teacher to do that. But I'm the teacher. It should be harder on me, right? This is my opinion. Okay. This is my opinion. Don't make it easy for me. If I wanted it easy for me, I wouldn't teach a class, in my opinion. In my opinion. All right. I have to underline that in bold letters. In Terri's opinion, I want you to do it over. This is my goal when I teach you. I want you to see that you have the ability. The way for you to see the ability is to let you do something that you do yourself, that tunnel vision. Okay, so those of you who have taken my pumpkin sculpting class, you know that you can bring Stitch, you can bring a castle, you can bring a building, you can bring a demon, you can bring a gargoyle, you can bring your dog, you can bring, I want to do my child on a pumpkin, whatever. I usually say make a face. If you're a beginner, make it angry, happy, sad, silly, funny. Do you want a funny pumpkin? Do you want a scary pumpkin? And then I teach you about the different, how to make a nose, how to do eyes, how to do mouth with teeth or without teeth, and the push me pull you that happens with pumpkin sculpting, right? That way you get used to the techniques first, doing a fun, silly pumpkin face. And then the next time you come or the next time you do it, which there will be a next time because it's fun, you can go a little more detailed if you want to put flounder on a pumpkin or you want to do, I completely sculpt pumpkins to encourage you to go on. Pumpkins break the barrier between those who don't believe they can do art and doing art, because there are people out there who can make that crossover, like Debbie. Debbie says, I'm going to go try it right here, right? So she doesn't need, but I get a lot of people who tell me I can't, it's just not in me. You'd be very disappointed, blah, blah, blah. In fact, I had someone from the tribe who said that to me, and I said, get in my class and give me 2 hours. This is what I say, get in my class and give me 2 hours. And he sculpted Stitch. And he was so blown away by his first Stitch sculpture that now he's not only a permanent coming to sculpt, but he's always very happy at the way it turns out because he let go of that voice. All right. That voice can still come on, but it doesn't come back as often with him. And he's very, very talented. And he's great with the pumpkins, but he's great on so many other levels. So here's some pumpkin class stuff. Let me see if I can show you some of the pumpkins. Another person with, I usually say, let's do a face. And so here is a face. My friend Adam Robeson is a photographer. So I'm going to hide this, Debbie, so that you can see the photo. But here's the photo. This is the man in the moon, her first. Okay. And then this is, look at her smiling with her skull. See, I love these. There's the skull. See, they're, you take the flesh off. If you've seen the show, you know all about this stuff. But look at this one. All right. Look at how they light up, all the colors. You get golds and roses and yellows. When you just punch through and you carve triangles like the old fashioned way, you get all that hot yellow light. In this case, when you work back with the skin, you have the ability to create these oranges and roses and really pretty colors. And then you see the light below it, that little light below it. I teach you that you can keep the integrity of the pumpkin on top and open the bottom, because you got to put a light in it anyway. So why not open the bottom? Here's another lady smiling. Look at her castle with Mickey. And then Michelle, my friend Michelle, and look at her Grogu in the cradle. These are firsts. Okay? I want you to understand, these are firsts. These are firsts. First-time students. All right? So basically, I'm defending my right as a teacher to let you do what you want, and I just help you get there. Okay, which is why I'm such a pain in the butt, I'll bet, for these wine and dine places. I don't know if the woman will even answer me. We'll see. We'll see if she likes me or not, but oh well. C4 plus gallon paint makes modern art. Could. I'm not really into that, but I'll trust you. And then Mike asked me how my mom's doing. She's doing good, except for last week I didn't get to see her because I had a scratchy throat. And whenever I'm feeling a little under the weather, I won't go see her because she's in the convalescent hospital. So, you know, um, it's just great, you know. Then you see super cool, very nice, talented, wow, very talented ladies. This is my students at the class. So they come in and they feel like maybe they're going to be good, but when they go out, they're very happy with what they do. And this is you can pick, you know, what you do and what you like and how you like it, and then they just carve and carve and carve for the day, and we eat and we enjoy ourselves and stuff. It's cool. I don't know if you've seen my children, but I'll show you a couple of my kids before I disappear. This is my lady. She is a little pumpkin. She's done from a pumpkin that you buy at any pumpkin patch. And she's about, I'd say, 6, 7 inches tall. And if I sweep over, this is her lit. So you see how her cheeks are darker, her lips are darker, a little bit too bright in the tear ducts. But when it's a pumpkin, they rot. So this is to illustrate that, you know, sometimes I get a little too crazy with my pumpkin sculpting and just have so much fun that I might punch through. But punching through is not so bad. Then I have ones where I was in Indiana and I'm given these killer giant ones. The one I'm hugging is a 650 pounder. So I decided to make this dragon with a skull and it's in a shell and it's gripping the skull and the tail goes around the teeth. And this one doesn't light up because I would have it wouldn't have kept its understructure if I carved it thin enough to light up. So that one doesn't light up. But now you understand that with outrageous pumpkins, they don't light theirs. They carve theirs not to be lit. What else I got here? That's my lady again. So I'm just looking to see if there's something else I can show you. Oh, this one is fun. You'll like this one. This is a dragon's egg. You see the dragon. You see the shape of these pumpkins. This is another thing I teach is how to, I can be on here. I teach to find a weird shape because an ugly pumpkin is going to do half your work for you. So this one was kind of a weird shape. I liked it. It looked like a pumpkin egg to me. Here it is lit. So this is a really fun way. And if you're someone who's nervous about getting back into art, pumpkins are a great way to do it. I've discovered because they rot. So you can put them in your ground and they go back to the earth, and then you pull out the big pieces, or you can hoe it under. Is that the right words? Anyway, you can create a mulch for your plants. And it really is lovely. A lot of times it gets more interesting as it rots. It metamorphoses into some crazy stuff. If I could find my fellow, I don't know if he's here. I have one that he's here that I did, but I don't know if it shows him as a, oh, it's not him as an old guy, but you'll get the idea. So here is Gary, my scary pumpkin. This is Gary, my scary. I learned this from the people who do the pumpkin competitors, what they use. So they use a radish because the radish has red. So you can carve the white eyeball, carve the red back, and then you take a little bit of pumpkin or squash in the middle, and you have yourself these pupils. Again, not made to be lit like the other ones I just showed you, but at least you can see how absolutely crazy they are. Now, in his case, I think this pumpkin was semi-rotted, which is why he's got this little appliance on the side right there. But I just stuck a piece of pumpkin up there. You know, it's really fun, and in the dark, nobody cares, and I spotlight him and stuff. But look how deep the pumpkins go. This is a wolf. And so it's got a really deep, it's got about an inch and a half for you to play with. So it makes it, I mean, you can see around the eyes how deep you can go. So it's pretty fun. Then I did a profile so people could kind of see, I'm coming through a little bit in some areas, but don't care because he's a skull and he's, you know, it's a Halloweeny thing. So you get these really delicious pumpkins to sculpt. But what I was going to show you is as they rot, they are super fun. Look at this guy that has rotted. So they make their own creepiness. So here he is rotting, and pretty soon I'm going to have to, till him into the ivy, or I've got to throw him away into the recycle bin, the plant recycle bin. Yeah. So there he is. So you can kind of see. So as we come up on Halloween, I teach virtual classes whenever possible, and I teach live in Anaheim. So when you get the opportunity to take this class, it is a lot of fun, and it could change your mindset, which is all you can do it. You've got the ability. You just have to get out of your own way. And I never have trouble with children. I have trouble with adults. The adults are my high maintenance people. Yeah, they're the ones that have gone through life. Life has changed them. You've been dinged, etc., etc. In some cases, I'm not saying all of you. Some of you attack it like kids, and we love when you do that. But I'm saying, if you're not one of these people, if you're someone who's saying to yourself, I can't, I won't, I shan't, I'm telling you, this is a really safe environment to work, and it's a lot of fun to do. So there you go. Let's see. It says, think I did high school rubber spiders. LOL. I did, because Crazy Mike is talking about a teacher playing with rubber spiders. Ryan asks, radishes for the eyes. Yes. Now, in the case of that pumpkin, you saw the radishes for the eyes, etc., and so on and so forth. I will tell you that I put the eyes into the cavity with super glue. Oh my gosh, does super glue love pumpkin flesh? So you can just put a couple of dots, and man, it holds like, and it is one of the lovely secrets that I learned from the pumpkin contestants when I work on Outrageous Pumpkins. I don't ask them while they're carving, of course, but afterwards we get the opportunity to kind of see them before they disappear. And I'll say, how did you do that? Or when I'm interviewing, how did you do that? What did you do? What is that made out of? And then I remember, and then I try it. Lots of benefits. Yeah. Oh, that feels good. I felt my throat getting a little dry. Boy, I love tea. Oh, this is a hi, Ryan, and some hey heys. Sometimes they'll get there. Ryan says, we had fun on the set. Yeah, Ryan is a winner, right, Ryan? You won your season. Yeah, he really blew us away on some stuff. Ryan, yeah. He's a power tool guy. Yeah. 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 Most of the time he looked like a pumpkin. You couldn't tell the difference between Ryan and the pumpkin because he was covered in pumpkin. So you learned a lot. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. See, we got here. It's the wettest that activates the glue. And then Ryan says, indeed, season 2. Yeah, you got to watch season 2. That's some of the best carvers we had on season 2. They really taught me about what you pushed pumpkins to the limit, man. Y'all did. You're an amazing group of carvers. All year we get amazing groups of carvers, but Ryan was like, yo. Well, I mean, Titus, it was your season. You, Titus, y'all gave me a run for my money. I'm just gonna tell you, if I haven't named names here, it's not because you're not talented. It's because season 2 just got thrown into me, and I was, but wow, yes, Ryan. But we always got a kick out of Ryan because he would bathe in pumpkin guts. He'd take a chainsaw and carve pumpkins. I haven't gotten that aggressive, what's the word, that brave yet. Yeah, I use a chainsaw, just not on pumpkins. I don't really carve that big anymore, Ryan. I usually do the small stuff when I'm training. It's easier for me to lift. But great fun, great fun. And your season was some of the best we'd seen. Yeah, yeah. Every season has got some great stuff, but that was a exceptional one, I think. Yeah, but I loved all the seasons. All the seasons have got good people in them. Yeah, you meet some great people on the tour. Never use CA and cotton balls. The cotton will heat up and catch fire. Okay, that's good to know. I don't know that I ever would have done it. CA is cyanoacrylate. I actually know what CA is. It is not California. It is cyanoacrylate. Yeah, meaning super glue. And because let me tell you something. When you're in the business of model building, you're in the business of creating things. Like we were on Ghostbusters. We did Ghostbusters. I think it was Dune though, the 1984 Dune, where many of the shop guys showed me that you take a paint can top and you put a little cyanoacrylate in it and then you hit it with kicker. But it's not like you go, you go, and it makes like a little nuclear, like a mushroom. So you put it there and it goes, and oh man, the guys used to do that all the time. It's not really the smartest thing to do, but they loved making these little mushroom clouds in their paint can lids. They go, watch, watch. Go figure, right? Go figure. Ryan says everyone was amazing, and that's wild. Yes, it is wild. Ryan, thank you for joining me today. That was a lovely extra bonus. And everyone, Debbie and all of y'all, this has always been so much. You guys make it so much fun for me to see you on Mondays and Fridays. Friday, like I said, I don't think me working on StreamYard, using StreamYard as a platform, is going to prevent me from seeing you guys on Friday. The reason I'm so excited that the StreamYard clock ticking over and who knows what's going to happen to my broadcast if I was broadcasting later in the day. So I'm really happy that I'm broadcasting when I am, because at the time that I was ready to launch this 9:45, I had like 18 hours left before, who knows, I turn into a pumpkin or something. And we're going to be researching for the next few days with StreamYard to figure out how I can give them permission so that Friday all will be status quo. But this is the joy of coming and seeing me, because I am not a technologically savvy person, nor, to be honest with you, do I care to be one. I would rather just be painting and sculpting and doing the things that I like to do. So I like to come on here as effortlessly as possible, which is why I'm so grateful to my husband, Lindsay. He worries about color. He concerns himself about focus. If you saw that little glitch right here, he's going to be communicating to me about that glitch. I can feel it in my bones. And we're trying to find out what that glitch is, because we have changed a couple of components on our system, and that means that we've got to do some the thing I have to tell him though is that I didn't really notice it at the beginning of the broadcast, but he can take a look at it and he knows it, because honestly, to be honest with you guys, I don't pay attention. As long as you can hear me and see me somewhat, I'm like, yay! In my life, I have to be honest. When I was sepia on Friday, he says, "What'd you think about the color?" I said, "Well, it's a little brown." And he was like, "Ugh." He's like, "Yeah, I don't like that." And I was like, "I think it's okay." But then, bless his heart, you know, so the space that you're seeing here is a bit wide for me. I kind of like it to be more like this, because this is a coat I'm illustrating, and then this is my desk, and this is a painting I'm doing, and I kind of like it to be just a little narrower so you don't see everything that's crazy. This is a storyboard from a silent film I did. I made a silent film, and I just thought it would be fun, so I did that. So you're seeing some things in the background. This here is my mermaid tail. Now it's really glitching. And I'm wondering if it's glitching because of the heat of the camera. The camera that I have here tends to get a little warm. So that might be something too. But I'll just ask my husband, and we have, my main thing is we've got 4 days to play. Figure this out. More like 3 because I'm going to art class. But it's just kind of cool that that's the the situation. So, guys, I'm going to exit. We're going to work on this. I'm going to make sure that I can come and see you. But know that if for any reason you don't see me on Friday, I will post a pre-recorded, so at least you get to see something on Friday if I run into trouble with my platform. All right, this is the main thing. I just wanted you guys to know that I'm not just going to disappear. Sometimes when I disappear, it's because I'm struggling with something technical, but this time it's Facebook and various things. I think I'm cool with you guys on YouTube, but Facebook could be a challenge. So most of you are YouTube here, so I don't think we're going to have a problem on Friday. But just heads up, okay, in case you don't see something, or I can't get it resolved beforehand. That will be the situation. I don't know why I went back, because when I went back, of course, I went fuzzy. But guys, do something nice for someone else. It'll make you feel a whole lot better. Please, please, please enjoy your day. This is my birthday month. I love the month of June because of gloom. I mean, I'm serious. Everything that seems to happen in this month is great. For example, I love raw oysters, and they say don't eat raw oysters in any month with an R. If you spell June, you know that I can eat all that I want, because it's not Jern, it's June. So it just keeps making it more and more fun. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I love you. And thank you for wishing me my birthday wishes. And Ryan, thanks for joining us. He is the winner of season 2. So go see season 2. Check him out. He's a very talented individual. A lot of fun to watch as a judge. I'm not only saying that as a judge, but he and I haven't really had the chance to talk about what I thought about a lot of his work. It's incredible. I think you're very brave to be a contestant. It's a lot easier. It's not easy for my position because I love it. The harder you guys make it for me, the better. You make it really, 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 really difficult. I like it more and more and more difficult, Ryan. I like it when you're all good and I don't have an easy exit. There was one guy on there. It might have been season 3. There was one guy on there who just would not listen to us. Every time we gave him advice, he just ignored us. He made it so easy when we had to eliminate, because we said that guy's going. We don't like that, though. Honestly, as a judge, we don't want it to be that easy. We want to see you dig deep, listen to what we're seeing, and make it hard as hell for us. We love that. And your season was one of those seasons. So we absolutely adored it. I mean, yeah, lots of good. Every season is good, but that one made me work. Yeah, that one they all make me work, but that one, yeah, was good. It was good. I love you guys. Be well. See you Friday. Have a good week. Enjoy June. And I'll see you Friday. Same time, same channel. What do you think about that, Mr. Pruitt? Talk to you later, guys. Bye for now.